Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Average Garage. This is part 2 of the Dodgey airbag recalls. So I just want to touch up on a few little things. I feel there's a bit more that can be said that people aren't really getting the right information about. So for starters, I just want to touch up, people are getting some seriously good offers on some certain vehicles. Obviously not all of them. There's BMWs, Peugeots, Audis, all sorts that are affected. But as far as the Mitsubishi NL side, which is pretty much what these videos are based at, people are getting some seriously good offers. I've heard stories of people buying a car for $2.5 grand and then getting paid out $7 grand plus from the dealer not even a few months later. So, you know, it's not a terrible deal. Now, another thing is I want to just reiterate how dangerous these are. So there's a few common failures with these airbags. One of them, or they all stem, this is an airbag out of a Falcon, but similar design. They all stem from the igniter, the explosive charge. There's some airbags, I don't think specifically the Mitsubishi ones, but there are some airbags where these cylinders are actually rusting apart. They claim, most people would have seen the news article, how they claim that they'll blow up at any moment. I don't believe they'll blow up at any moment unless the rust is that bad that it bridges the two terminals. But if it does rust or corrode in a way, what it could do is actually, when the charge goes off inside this unit, instead of inflating the bag, it'll shoot a piece of shrapnel off to the side or into the dash or into your passenger, whatever. So it is very dangerous. You've got to think it's not just you in the car. You've got to think about your passengers, your kids, your wife, anybody else, your husband even, your mistress. You know, I'm sure you don't want her to get hurt. So, you know, you got to think about everybody else in the car. It's not just you. And I understand people love their cars. Like I said in the last video, it's their pride and joy, but you've got to move on. If you can choose to do what the old bloke did over East, you can sign the waiver, you can keep your car, take the airbag out. But if you choose to do that, your car is no longer insured. Any insurance that finds out you don't have an airbag in that car will tear your policy up and you are uninsured in any event. No ifs, no buts, no maybes, not engineerable, out of the question. So you've got to think about the safety of not only yourself, but the others. Is it really worth your life for a $5,000 car? So that's the little thing taken care of. But I've seen a lot of people scared to take their car in to have the airbag even looked at. They say, oh, well, what if they pick up my car for other things and make me do other work? They can't do that. If you take your car in for the airbag recall, all they can do is check that airbag. They can't sit there and go, you've got a bald tire, you've got an oil leak, you've got a fan belt that goes tick, 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 tick. They can't do that. They can't make you get those things fixed, and they can't just sting you with $4 grand of repair bills. That's not how it works. What they can do, if you take, and this is very important, if you do take, for example, your NL Pajero into the dealership to have it checked, all they want to do is check it. If it does have a Dodgey airbag, they cannot let you drive out in that car without signing a liability waiver. This brings all the onus onto you, so that if you do have an accident, and you being yourself or a passenger get shrapnel to the face or injured in any way, shape or form in that vehicle, your third-party insurance is no longer valid. Your vehicle insurance is no longer valid. The CTP, your third-party, compulsory third-party, that's your rego, is no longer valid. So you are up for all medical costs and any other costs associated with that crash. And let me tell you, it's going to be very damn expensive. So another thing is, a lot of people say, why can't you just make another airbag? Why can't you just put another airbag in it? There's a few reasons with that. Engineering, ADRs. So no, you cannot engineer a 380 Mitsubishi steering wheel onto your NL. It's not how it works. It wasn't designed for that vehicle. It can't work like that. And people say, well, why can't they just make a new airbag and fit that to the cars that are affected? It doesn't work like that either. If you think about the amount of money and time that will go into engineering a new airbag, from the design to the manufacture to then the recall and fit of all these vehicles, $7 grand times couple of thousand Pajeros isn't that much. When you're talking about multi-million-dollar process of re-engineering, redeveloping an airbag for a car that essentially might only be on the road for another 5 to 10 years anyways, given other factors. Some, yeah, sure, they'll go another 20 years. Depends who looks after them. So it's just not worth it. Get your airbag checked. Take the payout. You can argue the payout. That's another good point. You don't have to accept the first offer. You can negotiate. You can just make sure you get it all in writing. Email the dealer principal or the case manager, whoever you get to deal with. Email them on and off. Relay to them your concerns. Say, look, I've got wheels, tires, lift, roof basket, dual batteries, a big subwoofer, CD player, who gives a shit? You can argue all of that, and they have to take that into account. They will let you keep certain modifications, but then obviously you have to take them off the vehicle and try and resell them later. So toss up whether it's worth doing that or not. If they're going to pay you out a decent sum with all the modifications, just get rid of it. Wipe your hands of it. It's so much easier. But yeah, you do not have to take your first offer. You can negotiate, and if they don't want to negotiate, that's when you can get in with the ACCC and start your talks with them. If you talk to the ACCC, they'll guide you through everything you can do to get a better offer or the dealer's obligations. So another point, well, like I just touched on before, they will not let you leave the dealership if you do have a faulty airbag, and this is because they're technically liable, which is why you have to sign the waiver. You cannot drive off if you don't sign the waiver. If you do, you'll probably have the police pulling you over in 2 minutes. You just can't do it. It's not how the world works. I know it upsets a lot of people, but it is not how the world works. Now, people have already had a sad at me on Facebook. That's fine, I don't care. I don't own an NL. This doesn't affect me. I don't own any cars with airbags that affects me unless they start pulling all the old Fords up. Then I might be screwed. But that's another issue. So I'm not personally affected by this single recall or the series of recalls regarding the Mitsubishis, but I know a lot of people that are. I know there's a lot of heartache about it, but all I can try and say is the facts. I can give you some information. I can try and dumb it down for people who don't really understand or don't want to understand. I know there is a lot of, not denial, but there is a lot of feedback about this, and a lot of people aren't happy, which you can understand. So I just thought I'd give a little update of this video and just give a bit more information regarding the subject. There's a few more key points that I've come across over the couple of weeks, and I feel they need to be said because there's still so much false information out there. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment below. If you have any questions that I can't answer that you really want an answer for, call the ACCC. Contact them. They'll let you know everything you need to know, as well as your dealer. They're very helpful. They're not trying to piss people off, and they're not trying to rort everybody out of their cars. It's not a big conspiracy about trying to get old cars off the road. It's just not. It's a safety issue, and it needs to be addressed. This has been going on for at least 5 or 6 years, and people are still taking the piss by not taking their cars in and getting it done when it's literally a 30-minute job on some cars. And if it's not, they'll give you a free loan car. It's not that difficult. And a lot of people just aren't asking the questions. Call your dealer. Just say, hey, look, I've got this car. I've got a recall. What's the go? They'll run you through it all. They can't hold your car for other issues. They can only hold it for the airbag. But if you're worried about your car being taken, talk to them. Ask them beforehand. But it is something that you need to get done. It is very important, and there are repercussions in the works now for people who are refusing to do this. So yeah, it's just not worth it. So yeah, if you got any questions, chuck them in the comments below and I'll get to them. I'll answer them best I can. If I can't answer them, ask the ACCC, ask your dealer. If you're questioning whether your VIN is affected, jump on ismyairbagsafe.com.au and that'll give you a VIN check. You chuck your VIN in there, it'll tell you whether your car is affected or not. So anyways, just to wrap it up, I just thought I'd try and explain it a bit more. So thank you very much for watching. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell button, stay tuned for more videos. The barra build's just over there. It's halfway stripped now, and that's going to be fun to deal with. But yeah, so drop a comment, let me know what you think. Cheers guys, we'll see you in the next video.